Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome into the channel. My name is Brett with Invested on the Go. Today, I'm challenging myself to sell my very first rental unit, and we're going to go ahead and be covering what exactly is better, rental or investment income. So definitely tune in. We're going to be going over a few areas. Number one, the listing. Number two, some of the offer scenarios, as well as an offer that I received. Three, where that capital is going to be going to. And then the last here, cash flow. Cash flow from rental versus investment income. Which exactly is better for me? It's not better for everyone, but we're going to go ahead and be going through this journey together. So if you guys are brand new here to the channel, definitely go down below, hit that subscribe, smash that thumbs up. So you can tag along on the personal journey of selling my own first rental unit. So with that said, let's go ahead and dive into the listing. Okay. So listing right off the bat, I listed my home. It's not too expensive, I would say. It's listed at 206,000, the Zestimate. It has been active now on the market roughly 7 days. I let them know last Saturday, I believe, is when I let the realtor know, hey, I'd like to list this home. And so he got it all up, written up. We went ahead and signed and listed it out there on the market. He has had a few calls and a couple offers, offers kind of flowing in. One of them was really low bally. We'll go ahead and cover that in just a moment. So definitely stay tuned. So as of right now, within the week, we've had 482 views, 32 saves for this home. Now, if I were to sell this home as is at 206,000, the loan on this specific property is $64,985 as of May. Right now, 2026, and I'm not sure of the exact balance in terms of closing right. This might take a month or so to close, or it could stay on the market longer than where it's at right now. Now, so far in 2026, it's pulled in revenue of $9,025, but of that $9,000, it's only had 3 positive months. So January, February, March, pretty positive. And then we had a leak incident on the roof back in April, and then a couple little miscellaneous things that happened here recently in May. So you can see net income so far is 1,365. Divide that by 5. We're looking at anywhere between $200 to $300 of cash flow per month, versus normally I get between $400 to $600 of net income per month, which is pretty positive. My loan, pretty reasonable, $64,985. I pay roughly $600 a month in a mortgage with my principal interest all attached within. So it's rented for $1,550. It get about a 12% goes towards the property manager. I pay water and I pay trash on the unit, and then I'd pay down the mortgage, and the remaining portion would usually be roughly $400 to $600, and that would be the net income, which I could take that and kind of buffer up my savings to a specific point, or choose to send it over to my investment account and get it invested into the market after I already have a specific threshold needed to maintain the mortgages if I were to have like a lapse in vacancy. So that's the listing as of now. Okay, so popping on down to the scenario. So offer scenarios. So best case scenario, 206,000. The stretch goal would be 205. The $200,000, I would take that as is right now. Now, and then we had the current offer. We've been in the market now about a week, or under a week on the market. And we've had calls coming in order to see the home, and there are some expected viewings happening next week that realtor let me know. Now, here's our lowball offer. The current offer stands as 185,000 plus 5,000 of concession, which would mean that we would sell the home for 185, and from that net sale, we would give them $5,000. So the 173,900 that would get back to me, 5,000 of that would get kicked to the buyer. After the loan payoff would be about 108,915. The taxable gain between where I bought my property and where I sold my property. So I bought my property back end of 2018. I bought it for $90,000. You can see the taxable gain here between the low offer here of 102 to the higher taxable gain with that $20,000 difference between those net proceeds of 173 and 193 would be anywhere from 102 to 122,000. Now, the example tax burdens, I went ahead and punched into AI, said, hey, based off my depreciation, my Oregon, my Fed tax, how much tax would I have to pay on these proceeds? And it's anywhere between almost $22,000 to upwards of nearly $30,000, just depending on where that home sells, right? You pay taxes on the net proceeds. So if I were to sell, best case scenario here at 206,000 where it's listed, my net investable would be roughly 102,000 versus if I sold it at the current offer of 185, I would have net investable of $87,049. Right now, they made the offer of 185 and 5,000 in concession. I'm going to be counter offering them without the concession. I don't want concession, especially 1 week into the market. So I will counter offer them with saying, hey, I don't mind dropping my offer from 206. I will drop it down to 200. Hey, I'm reasonable. I would like to sell the home, but I'm not going to be offering concessions, especially when we have 1 week in the market. And we'll see if they counter as well, or if we have other offers coming in next week. And I'd be more likely to go out anywhere as far as like a month out if need be. I'm not looking to sell this home right away. It could easily get listed back and continue rent, so no problem there whatsoever. It was cash flowing just fine. So moving on to the bonus. So if you guys are interested in some SoFi awesome bonuses, this is something my brother just reached out to me last night asking me about a banking getting set up, and he was set up with some platform that doesn't offer Zelle and payment systems and stuff. And I said, hey, check out these offers. Right now, if you sign up for SoFi Money, you can get up to $425 and 6 months of APY boost. So right now, if you guys scan the QR code, you guys are going to be able to get this cool little offer. So if you have direct deposits of $1,000 or more every single month, you can actually earn between $50 and $400. Plus, you're going to get a 0.7% APY boost on your savings. So I'm always trying to encourage him to start saving, to start investing. And that's where I also sent him the other offer, right? You get your SoFi Money account set up, you deposit your $1,000 direct deposit, you're going to get that bonus. Take that bonus, make that SoFi investment account, deposit $25, and you're going to get a bonus of $25. He's really looking forward to getting started in investing. And he's looking to target just into the S&P 500 by targeting to something like VU. So if you guys are interested in checking out the offers, you can check out the links down in the pinned comment down below or scan the QR code with your phone. So that is that. Let's go ahead and go over where the money is going to go. Where does that money go when we sell? So here's an example of our $2,000 counter offer. So we go ahead and counter offer with that $200,000 closing cost. That's sales, fees, those things hurt. So the agent fees and title fees, miscellaneous fees, that's going to be $12,000 or so removed right off the bat. That's going to net us roughly $188,000. Now, that $188,000, I pay back the loan, $64,985. That's going to leave me with about $123,000 of capital. Now, I can't go out there. I mean, I can, but you want to play it smart. So what we're going to be doing, this is a good time where you can talk with your CPA beforehand or after during the process and let them know, hey, I'm looking to sell this home. I'm going to be having this cash available. I'd like to kind of get a rough estimate of what my taxes would be like. That way you can kind of set it aside in a high interest account and get some APY on that versus having it in the market risk on. So tax holdings, we'd want to hold roughly in this scenario, roughly 24 to 25 cash in the account to pay down taxes. You could also invest this in other ways. Right now, bond potentially to kind of retain the dollar value, but still earn interest. That way it's not losing interest to inflation, which is it's going off the charts right now, right? So here's the breakdown of the taxes on the side. We have dividend recapture. Every year I'm able to depreciate my property. And over the last few years, I've been able to depreciate my home by anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000 per year. and that helps lower my tax bill every single year between this property and other property. It just kind of lowers my tax bill. I will have to re-give that up when I sell the home, so that'll be roughly 4,136 times the amount of years that I've held it. So I've held it since 2018. That wasn't a full year, so we'll say 2019 plus 6. So that's 7 years plus a couple months there. So it'll all be recaptured and taxed long-term capital gains because I've held this property for longer than 2 years. I'll have long-term capital gains of 15%. And then, of course, state wants a bite as well. So we will have to be paying a state tax of roughly $9,928 estimated. So that means by the end of it all, once I've had that cash of $123,000, I set some cash aside for that tax back, my allowable deployable capital to the market would be roughly $98,032. So now, where is that going to go exactly in terms of stocks, and what is going to be the cash flow between rental versus stocks? Okay, so right now I'm looking at a reinvestment 50-50 split between T-SPY and TDAC. I already hold quite a bit of T-SPY, TDAC. These are going to be more of my promising ones, right? T-SPY tracks the S&P 500 and TDAC tracks the NASDAQ 100. The annual percent yield was based off May numbers, or no, this is back in April, so estimated off April numbers. I'll go ahead and post it on the screen here with the actual number. I didn't get the math there correct, but I'll fix it here, and there's a screenshot, so you should see that across the top. So my combined monthly dividend paycheck, this is completely passive. Rentals have not been passive. You get your rental income potentially. If you'll get the full amount of rent, hopefully. If you're using property manager, they usually keep the tenant in line a lot better than if you're doing it yourself. But there's going to be those property management fees. If you're doing any sort of bills for the tenant, right? If you're taking care of trash and water and stuff, then that's going to be little expenses that get taken out. You're going to have your loan that gets taken out, and month to month, there could be things that break around the house. I've had to replace the range, the oven. I've had to replace the refrigerator one time. I had a roof leak recently. I redid the siding, painted. There's yearly maintenance to keep the trees and shrubs and grass and stuff all in line between tenants especially. And this, for example, is very passive. There's no tenants, there's no repairs, there's no management fees. I would get roughly, on a passive note, roughly $1,135 estimated, or $13,620 yearly estimated without any interruptions. Obviously it would kind of fluctuate up and down a little bit, but nowhere near as much as a rental unit. My January, February, March, my net income on those months were upwards of $600 a month, but in April and May, I actually had negative $200 of cash flow. That's why so far year to date, I've netted a little over $1,000, but on average, it's anywhere from $200 to $300 so far this year. So it does fluctuate quite a bit. So if we go and do the breakdown of keeping my rental versus selling and investing it, here I keep my rentals continue at my 2026 pace. My gross rent being rented out at roughly $1,550 a month will be $18,600 a year. Management fees would be $2,232. Repairs and maintenance right now, if things continue in the way that it is, I'd probably have about $2,500 of estimated repairs and maintenance. I'm covering utilities and garbage as well as water. So this it's kind of low, about $750. I would say maybe it's between $750 to $1,000 between those two, because water can kind of fluctuate a bit. Mortgage repayments, that would be upwards of $7,471. So net cash flow, it would be roughly $5,647 on the year net. Now, over the past few years, it's estimated between about $3,000 to $5,000 of net cash flow where some prior years have actually been negative. Like last year, actually, sorry. Not last year was pretty negative because I spent about $16,000 doing my siding, doing the paint job. So last year was all preparation to get it up to status so that I could potentially list it if I felt it was time, time in the market. And I did decide to actually list it. So that a monthly equivalent was roughly $471 a month, and that's if there's no issues. It's pretty good. So if I do go ahead and decide to sell that home, it sells at $200,000. Tenant headaches, absolutely nothing. No property management fees, no repair calls. That doesn't go to me anyways. My investment income from T-Spy would be about 604. TDAC investment income, it'll be actually much greater than 531. So pop up on the screen of what that would be now. My net cash per year would be somewhere around 13,620 or more. And my monthly equivalent would be 1,135 a month. So I'll go ahead and put the actual numbers here up on the screen in just a minute. But obviously, countering with that $200,000 zero commissions is a $20,000 swing over the current offer. And the difference between renting the home, continuing to rent, versus taking that capital, invest it into the market, I would still get market appreciation. My rental hasn't moved anywhere in the market since back in 2022. So 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. That's almost 5 years of just plateauing, not doing anything, and offering me minimal cash flow with minimal appreciation. So here I can take the capital, I can invest it into the market. The market may fluctuate, very similar to the unit itself. It could go down, it could go up, but it's going to be producing more cash flow on average than what the rental unit will do by upwards of $664 monthly or more, and net me much more a year versus, you can see, almost double cash flow by investing it into covered call ETFs in the way that I'm looking at versus keeping it as a rental. And with that said, if you guys are brand new here to the channel, I would really appreciate if you go down below. Once again, hit that subscribe, hit that thumbs up. If you guys have any comments or questions on any of the information that was posted here in the video, or you have some suggestions yourself, let me know down in the comment section below. I'm going to continue to keep my other units. I have a duplex as well. That one cash flows perfectly. It also helps assist in cash flow in this property, from time to time when this property's, dealing with some expenses, it makes plenty of capital to float this property being down on some months. So this property's been one of my headaches, and by getting it out of my portfolio, using that capital wisely, it would make my future cash flow much better in terms of rental headaches, in terms of passive income, and just much more passive to the terms where it's reliable on a monthly basis versus very sporadic and having to draw from my other units to cover this unit's expenses. So guys, that's going to be it. Let me know if you guys have any comments. Check out the pinned comment down below to get bonuses on SoFi between $50 to upwards of $400 by signing up for the SoFi Money and the SoFi investment platforms. And join the Discord server. It's completely free. You guys can also ask questions in there. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.